Okay, this is the third time I've tried this video. Having a few technical difficulties. Let's hope it works this time. I'm going to show you how to do the honeycomb stitch on the long loom. Hang on, sorry. I've got the phone precariously placed in a scarf around my neck in hopes that I can take this video. So it may be a little bit interesting. Anyway, this is the honeycomb stitch. As you can see, it's basically like a kind of a box or kind of a faux rib stitch, but that alternates. And so it creates this little honeycomb effect. I am using a Lion brand home style yarn, which has these great little twists in it. This is actually Montana Sky. I'm making this for a friend who wanted this color. And so obviously these little twists create really great texture, but it also means that there's not quite as much stitch definition. If you use a different kind of yarn, a more plain yarn, then you'll have a lot more stitch definition in your scarf. I just really love the texture that the home style gives this, even though it mutes this design a little bit. I've made it both ways, just happen to like it this way. You do what you want to though. Okay, so I am using, it's not a Nifty Knitter, it's a Michaels brand long looms. This is the 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 18, 20, 24. This is a 24 peg. So I'm just using 12 sets of pegs to make this scarf. And it's what, probably 6 inches wide, maybe. Yeah, maybe 6.5 inches. It's a good width. And I'm going to make it as an infinity scarf. But you can make it a regular scarf. You can make it as long or short as you want to. Add fringe. Don't add fringe. But I'm going to show you the actual stitch pattern. Because I don't think that there's a really... Oops. Dropped my hook. If you don't have a KB ergonomic hook, you really want one. It's just... Get rid of all your other hooks and go with the best right here. I'm also using, because this stitch pattern is essentially just a bunch of E-wrap type wraps, I'm using, oops, sorry, really not a professional setup here at all. I'm using a little straw. This isn't actually... I think it came with some loom or something, but it's essentially like a straw to make it easier to wrap the yarn around the pegs. Okay. Trying to do this while looking through the camera, which is interesting. Now, what this is you've got a stitch pattern and you're creating basically little open boxes and you're zigzagging them back and forth. And then after a certain number of rows, you're going to change directions and do the exact opposite. The original, I found a blog post that had a honeycomb stitch like this, a honeycomb stitch scarf, and they suggested changing the pattern direction every 9 rows. I did that. I wasn't thrilled with the look that created. I thought that it wound up looking too much just like a rib stitch scarf. I do every 6 rows. I think that creates a nice honeycomb effect. Honestly, you could do it every 4 rows. I haven't tried that yet, but that's what I'd like to do next because I might even be happier with that. 6 has made me happy, but 4 may make me even happier. You can do 9, you can do 12, you can do whatever you want to, but just be aware of the fact that the less frequently you change directions, the longer these little kind of ribs will be. So it'll just give you a slightly different look. Okay. If you were beginning, the cast on is exactly the same as the first and subsequent rows. So if you were beginning right now, you would create a slip knot and you would put the slip knot on this anchor peg and then you would cast on, do, a row or 2 if you want to, and then just undo this and just poke it on through and let that hang. And I'll show you that I've got mine right here, and then I'll just weave that in at the end. Okay, now let's get to the actual stitch. Okay, I hope that I'm in focus. Okay, so if you were starting from the very beginning, you would start here, and then you would bring the yarn around and wrap that. I'm not doing that now because I've already been going. But were this your very first, your yarn would come from here, and then you'd wrap around here. And then you would wrap to the inside and then the outside. Inside and then the outside. Inside, outside. Sorry, inside, no depth perception this way. Inside, outside, inside, outside. And you're just really creating, you're creating a broken box, if you will. Oops. It really is hard to do this looking through the camera because there's zero depth perception. So just hold that. Yeah, if I try to look over the phone, then it comes out of view. Just do those first couple ones to lock it in place. And actually, I just keep doing a few more. Okay, wait, hang on. I'm going to try to see if I can... Oh, this phone's really big. If it weren't so big, I'd be able to... Hang on, let me adjust a little bit. Yeah! I need a better setup. Okay. Sorry, I've got it now where I can look over the phone and also hopefully have it in focus. That makes it a lot easier to do. So you're just going to you're going to bring up your bottom loops over your top. Okay. Obviously, if you have just started and you do that one zigzag pattern, you will only have one loop on your pegs. So when you get to the end of the row, go back and follow the pattern exactly. Follow the track that you created with your yarn exactly the same, in the exact same directions. Don't change anything. And then you'll come back to this end. So at that point, you'd have 2 loops on your pegs, and then you're going to knit the bottom loop over the top loop, just like you would with other knit stitches. But again, that cast on row is exactly the same. Oh, sorry, that's not in focus, is it? It's going to be exactly the same as your subsequent rows. I just obviously didn't do that because I had already started. Then you'll just push everything down, and you'll continue, and I'll show you, going back, it's the same thing. I'm following that exact same path. Again, very difficult looking through. No depth perception. When you're not making a video and you're not dangling a phone on a scarf around your neck, it's much faster. Much faster indeed. Okay, again. Knit. You can... Oh, crap. I got these two tangled. You can knit the first one off and go to the other end and come back. I try to knit towards the middle. I think that it helps even out the tension just a little bit more. But you can start from the other end and then work towards the middle and then do this last end first. Oh, sorry. I didn't realize I was out of. But you get the picture on that, obviously. This sorry, I should also mention that that very first peg on the far side of where your working yarn will end up, or where you began, will be tighter. That first one will be snug. But worry not about that. The others will not. In fact, I'm careful to not pull on my yarn and try to stretch out the loop too much. I just pick it up and just pop it over. Don't try to, pick it up and pull it out. Okay, so basically trying to look through the camera while doing this, difficult. If that has not already been mentioned, let it be noted now. Okay, so that is another row. Obviously, if you've just begun, like I said, you'll wrap in this direction, then wrap back, and you'll have 2 loops, and you'll knit off, and that will be row 1. But then you'll come back, you'll go this direction, and then come back. You'll have 2 loops, you'll knit over. That'll be row 1. But then you'll go this direction again, and you'll already have 2 loops, and you'll knit off, and that'll be row 2. So only the first 2 wraps it'll be 2 rows that'll equal 1, because the first wrapping is really your cast on. And then the second one is your row 1. Okay, I'm going to pause this. I'm going to finish because I want to get to my my 6th row, and then I'm going to change direction. But you don't need to see me try to fumble through 6 rows while looking through my camera, because I've pretty much already shown you how to do that. And again, let me just demonstrate it again. So you're going to wrap inside, outside, 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 inside. I know it looks like it's the outside, but if it kept going, it would be the inside. Okay, so, and really that's inside of each set of 2, I should say. I just think of it as inside and outside, because as these sets of 2 create a little square, that's the inside versus the outside. If that doesn't help you, then you don't have to do that. Don't think of it in that way. I just wanted to show you that direction and how to actually wrap the peg. Okay, I'm going to pause this and I shall be back. Okay, I'm back. I have done my 6 rows, because that's what I'm doing. I'm changing direction every 6 rows. You can do it as frequently or infrequently as you would like. Yes, that is my nativity set that's still up. We will have all the Christmas decorations down surely by February, which is very fast approaching. There's still snow on the ground, and I'm from Texas, and now I live in the north, so when there's still snow on the ground, it sure feels like it should be Christmas decoration time. Or it just feels harder to bring them down, because snow feels like Christmas. Okay, so now we're going to change directions. Where's my, oh, here it is. Okay. Now we're going to change directions. And so now where we have these crossbars will be open. And where it's open now, there will be crossbars. So, but we've got to get ourselves going in the opposite direction. So oops. Stop falling. So I come back around and do this. Now, I think one could just start moving in this direction. I just haven't done that. But there's no law that says that you can't. This is just how I change directions. I do a crisscross there, and then I come and I do that. Oops. So everywhere where it was open, there's now a crossbar. Everywhere where there was a crossbar, it is open now for this new doing it slowly. So stop being out of focus. Don't do that. Okay, and now again. Now, I will note for you that when you change these directions, every other peg will be snugger. Where there's this change, every other loop will probably be a little snug to get off on this transition row. That won't be the case in subsequent rows, but just for this first transition row. Holy moly, it's like loom knitting blind.